What's up, everybody? Zach here with the Nerd Cave news. Oh, baby, baby. We got an awesome one because this week in gaming, we've got Summer Games Fest, Xbox Showcase. We've got all the stuff going on. College football put out a trailer. It's a good time to be a gamer because this is the Nerd Cave news, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, and I'm joined along with in the moonlight shadows of Nueva Esperanza, a man transforms from a charming, wealthy bachelor into a masked vigilante. By day, he captivates the city's elite with his roguish charm, while at night, he dons a black mask and cape to protect the city from corruption and crime, leaving behind his signature wolf mark. Balancing his dual life, he continues to charm society by day and defends the innocent by night, solidifying his legend in the city's tales. He is Rafael Torres, also known as El Lobo.
Oh, that was actually pretty good. It kind of gave me like a Zorro inspired feel. You know, I'm thinking back to Antonio Banderas' movie. You know, or what was it? Remember the 5th of November.
Oh, you're talking about V for Vendetta.
Yes, that one. That also kind of invokes that same style.
Yeah.
So that one was actually pretty good. Like the exposition and the name stuck the landing. So you know what? I thought about it too, but I'm not, he's a little bit more daring than Puss in Boots. Now Puss in Boots, I think, is more debonair, but you know.
I don't know. Zora's pretty debonair. So, Derek, I have to ask the question, where does it rank?
Because I was looking at the top 5, and the top 4 is Marconius Dracon, the Great Wizard, High Goblin King Gilgamesh, Maxwell Mindreach Stone, and Aurelius Thorn. That 5th one, Choco Narax, the Mighty Candy Dragon. It does hold a very high, just for being different and more unique. But I'm afraid Rafael Torres, or excuse me, El Lobo, has to take that new number 5 spot.
Ooh, let's go. Good job, Amy. Good job. Now, El Lobo, I'm glad to have you back on the show. Glad that you're here hanging out with us tonight. My question is, El Lobo, is what you been playing?
So I haven't had a chance to play much this week as I've been, been working. I've, because some things have happened at work with my counterpart team lead. Let him take care of his stuff with his wife, just let him handle some personal matters. I've been working 15 of the last 16 days at work. For the last 15 of 16 days, I have known only the 4 walls of Publix. So I have not been able to play much, but I did get in a little bit more play sesh with Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay.
And let me tell you, I feel like I'm getting to the wrap on Sebastian's story thread, because we just had that moment where we just had, because it's like a dual split, like with the little picture, finding out more about that. I put all that picture together, learned about the secret ability that and he found that out too, and then did the side quest where he has that big fight with his uncle, and you're just going to leave that at that. And now it's just like, okay, what's going to be the fallout and ramifications for this? Because now it's like his sister is on the verge of hating him for what he did. And it's like, look, I want to be fixed, but I don't want you to lose yourself and go to the extents that you have to do it. So that's been a really gripping story. Like, I think Sebastian is definitely the more interesting character. But then I just found out about Poppy Sweeting and her backstory, why she hates the poachers so much. And I was like, makes sense, because your parents were poachers as well. So, and I'm like, so she's living with her grandmother. Her grandmother has been trying to like immediately saw what her parents were like. It's like, I need to get her out of here. And
Yeah.
her parent, like, she's never had contact with her parents. And now because she's been doing this and freed the dragon from the fighting ring, my character's one is concerned that, oh, will her parents show up and like hear about this and be like, why are you against what we do? Type deal. So I don't know how that's going to play out.
Because it's wrong.
Right, but it's profitable. Don't you know it's profitable? So it's
usually
okay.
Whatever is illegal is profitable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's profit
like
to be made. Yeah, exactly. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So I've been dabbling in that, like fleshing out more of the side quests, like with the relationship quests and all that. But I am making progress. I am over 80% through the game, like completion, like done everything type, like doing everything type bit. So I'm making. I feel like with a couple, like maybe 3 more play sessions, like good play sessions, I can finish the game.
Nice. I'm liking it. For me, I have been playing. I've played Star Wars Hunters on Tuesday, which just released Tuesday. It's available on Switch and iPhone and Android, and it is super mobile game-esque. It is very like microtransactions and all of that, but dude, I absolutely dominated when playing. I was getting kills left. Like I played several games that didn't even die.
Wow. Like, you're channeling your inner Halo Zach is what you're saying.
Exactly. I didn't lose until probably 2 hours into playing.
Oh wow.
So like, and I was top of the leaderboard every game. Like I was just 9-10 kills easy.
You opened up your backpack is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I as the kids would say, I had Riz.
That's not the proper use for that term.
I have no idea what that means. So there you go. But yeah, I'm just crushing it, dude. And it's fun to play. So I'm gonna keep playing it and enjoy it. It definitely pushes the microtransactions, but I do like the more you play with the characters, the more abilities you get. Like your abilities that you have, not that you get, your abilities upgrade the more you play with them. So the longer you play with the Sentinel, which is the Stormtrooper, the better your blaster works or the skill works better. And it just makes it, it rewards you for playing with one character longer.
Right.
And the more you play, the more you unlock. Everything's not unlocked. You can buy it to unlock.
Right.
So, and you can also buy the upgrades to do faster. So there's a little bit of pay to win, and mechanics in that. But overall, it's a very solid game. I think it, for what it is, it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Now, is it only do you already have like pre-selected characters like Boba Fett, Jango Fett, or can you create your own character too?
So it's pretty much like Overwatch, where there are specific heroes. There's one Mandalorian which is hidden behind the annual pass or the premium pass, arena pass, whatever it's called. Yeah. And then the rest of them can be unlocked, but you have to play for quite some time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's good. They're all very different. They all have different abilities. There's 2 healers, 3 technically, because one kind of goes between healing and like attack and all of that. There's similarities to Overwatch in that, but it's not like, oh, this is definitely this one character. It's like they picked a bunch of different things and there's like, oh, well, I can see these few abilities are like Roadhogs, and then this is like it's thought out really well. Like I feel like it's not optimized like as in the like Chewbacca, or Graz is his name, the Wookiee can soak up damage like nobody's business. But if you get a sentinel around you, which is the stormtrooper with like the laser cannon, he will mow you down like nobody's business.
Oh boy.
And I think that it's kind of like the sentinel, in my opinion, is probably the most OP character out of all of them. Because you get a shield, and you get, once you turn on your shield, your gun fires faster.
Oh wow.
So like it's definitely has its advantages. I went in the training mode and tested out all the different characters and everything, and I can't wait to unlock more, but I'm really enjoying the game, and it being free, I can ignore all of the freemium stuff. I can, that doesn't get me at all. So I'm enjoying it. Joe says he's playing the multiverses when it works.
Yeah. So my other question is, I know we talked about it before, but at the time you felt like you would, but you hadn't dropped off of it yet. Have you pretty much Diablo forward Helldivers 2 at this point, where it's like, I need to move on to other things. I need to put this out to pasture.
For me, at the moment, yes, just because I'm not playing a lot, because my hand and everything. I'm the only time I've been playing is Tuesdays. So I'm just testing out a bunch of games at the moment. I tested out Fallout 76. Not really there. Like after I watched the show, I was like, okay, I want to just test it out. Me and Nate played a little bit, and there's some cool things there, but like if you're playing a mission together, you're in the same team, you're playing the exact same mission. Derek, let me just ask you this. If you're playing the same mission, would you expect the same treatment in that mission? Like
as from far as like
NPCs. No, like NPCs. Like if you have not done anything.
Yeah. Would you say if you're neutral? Yeah. About to say, like, don't treat you like the bad guy or the savior.
Yeah. So Nate walks in to this compound. They totally welcome him. I walk through the gate. Everybody starts shooting at me.
What?
And I literally did nothing to deserve to get shot out. So,
well, now let's not be entirely. Let's tell the entire story. Are you sure you did absolutely nothing?
I did nothing, Derek. I pressed the button because Nate couldn't figure out how to get in. And we already talked to the guard in the front. Nate talked to the guard. And then I pressed the button.
What was your reputation before you entered in there?
Neutral. Like it was like we were going to talk to the leader and everything. So I walk in, everybody starts shooting at me. And I'm like, well, we know how this is going to end.
Well, they already knew about you. They knew, like, this man loves Darth Vader. He loves the Sith. He loves dark, anything evil side. So we're just going to get rid of him.
Well, I wiped them out better than Vader wiped out the Jedi Temple. Let me tell you, there was nobody left. Nobody to tell the tale. I went and made sure every single one of them was crow feed.
Wow.
You don't mess with me. You don't kick my dog either in Fable. That ain't how this goes. Guys, this is the Nerd Cave News, and this episode is brought to you by the Epic Game Store, where you can support us by using our creator code NerdCave at checkout. And also, we're brought to you by Coffee Brand Coffee and our wonderful patrons, but more about that later. We got some housekeeping before we get into the show. Tomorrow is Summer Games Fest, and we're going to be doing a watch along and a breakdown. We're going to be starting at 3:30. I'm excited, Derek.
I know.
I'm excited. So we're going to start at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be talking about the things that we're excited about. There's been some leaks, some rumors, all of this crazy stuff. So we're going to be breaking that down. And then Sunday at 11:30 a.m., we're going to do a pre-thing. We're going to watch it, and then we're going to break it down. It's going to be fantastic. There might be some friends that come by and react and hang out with us on those. So looking forward to it, guys. So again, tomorrow, Summer Games Fest, 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Xbox Showcase on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. We are not doing the Call of Duty thing. I'm just putting that out there. I care nothing about Call of Duty.
Or the Ubisoft Forward. I will be watching the Ubisoft Forward, depending on what time it is, but I was about to say we're not going to be covering that.
Yeah, it's on Monday, and ain't about that life. They stole my joy. Okay, they stole my smile. But without further ado, let's jump into the gaming discussion this week. College Football 25 gameplay deep dive provides first look at campus IQ, wear and tear system, and so much more. So let's jump into this awesome little trailer that we got shown.
Okay.
Game looks great.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Okay.
Okay. So what you're saying is spear tackle him if he's got a chest contusion.
Ooh.
Yeah. Huh. Huh.
Wouldn't work on Tebow though.
No. So that's kind of like madness. Like if you keep running that no huddle offense, your players wear down. But only affects your stamina.
Yeah.
Huh.
Let's go. New field goal. Okay. Ooh, field general.
Double safety blitz. Yeah, that was a thing back in the old
day.
games.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty dope.
Huh.
It's kind of like how 2K.
Yeah, and Madden has done it too in the last couple of years, like attributes.
How about Troy Veteran Stadium?
You know,
the big T marching down the field. That was a bad snap.
Yep. Now, what round am I running?
Huh? Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Been there. Oh, boy got
juked out of his shoes. Yeah.
Okay. That's very interesting. There we go. We got a Hail Mary right there.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah, they're going to have like 12 different hot routes now.
That's nice. Let's go. Yeah. We don't care about that part.
Right.
Derek,
Microtransactions. Yeah.
Derek, are
Yeah.
you excited about college football?
I think the two most standout things is the wear and tear system because again,
Mhm.
Madden kind of has done it to an extent, but again, it's like if you run the no huddle or if you run so many plays in a row, like it's say you have the receiver run so many deep routes, on the course of the drive, their stamina wears down, so they can't accelerate as fast. But that's where it
Mhm.
ends. This wear and tear system where it's like, all right, quarterback got like helmet to the chest, and now he has a chest contusion. Now you got to monitor throughout the game just to make sure. And it's like, all right, do I protect him? Like, how do I do it? Like on offense, like, how do I adjust to this? Like, how do I help him out so he doesn't get taken out of the game? And as a defense, is like, he's weak. I smell blood. Get him, take him out.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like, of course, you could have up to 8 hot routes in the previous game. So now they added 12. It's not just the right and left sticks. It's like the D-pad now, but also like the ability of custom stems. So it's like, all right, your hitch route only goes up 3 yards. It's like, I want to make it go 15 yards before he does a hitch. That's actually pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And I know like the little switch stick for the defenders is a big thing too. I have to see how much more that plays into because your boy just plays D lineman and he's just trying to make sure that the quarterback or the running back gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage. But the custom stem routes are going to be the huge thing. I think is going to be like for gameplay efficient, especially for the people who love to do offense.
Yeah, 100%. And like the wear and tear, how like if you're playing quick play and all of that, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are playing a dynasty, or
Mm-hmm.
if I'm wondering if it also goes into the road to honor. I can't remember what it was called.
Road to glory.
Road to glory. I wonder if that comes into play as well on it. Like if your person gets hit so many times, like if they get beat up and everything.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like it. It makes it way more realistic. It's like, are you bringing out, your second string? Because man, you would hammer that first string to make sure, your opponent would
I want to put 90 points on him.
Yeah, exactly. I like David used to do to both of us back in the day and everything. You know what I mean? It's like making sure like we get into this game and like have a good time. I feel like it has all these technical things. And I was talking about I think maybe last week, I'm not 100% sure, but I always feel like the college football games are always pushing forward more than
Correct.
Madden.
Yes.
And eventually Madden will get all of these things, but it was always the college football games that pushed the series forward as a whole.
So what you're saying is NCAA is Android and Madden is Apple, where Android does all the features and then Apple gets them later. But acts like it's like, oh, we're innovating.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I've always I like the atmosphere of college football, college sports in general, because like each place has its own feel. And yes, some stadiums in the NFL have that in real life, but it doesn't really come across in the game, in my opinion. Like in Florida, you're going to hear the songs that the Florida band plays. It's all of those things because you don't get that in Madden, NFL,
you just
and
get
all
the
of that.
Generic sound. That's it.
Yeah. It's like touchdown, but I'm digging what they're doing with the game, and
especially all the different traits, man. Like that's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that is going to come into play. Is it random? Like if these are named, athletes, are they like? How did they come up with the attributes that they're getting?
Yeah.
And
I'm sure the star, like the star or featured players on the teams will probably get more or better abilities than like just generic right guard,
Yeah. And then we also have like the NIL that is coming into the picture of this series, which the whole like dynasty mode was one of my favorite things to play in all of this. Road to Glory was fun and everything, but building your dynasty, going to your pipeline, recruiting, and all of that, I'm wondering how all of that's going to go. And I know comes out next month, correct?
Yeah, July.
Yeah, so we've got
25th.
Over a month, about 2 months at this point, and I'm excited. I haven't been excited for a sports game in a very long time.
I know, because after NCAA went away, you tried being on the 2K bandwagon. Then they did the whole video game business decision thing, and then you're like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, like, dude, it was NCAA. I would play like so many hours, easily 200-300 hours a year on these games, and then 2K, put all the time in it. So I'm wondering if this gets me back into enjoying football, because that was one of the reasons why I enjoyed football so much, was because of these games.
Right.
And the throwing options in this, that you can have better passes. If it's almost like active reloading in Gears, it seemed like it's like if you release at a certain time, you hit the button again, it's going to be a better throw or whatever. And the option looks so much cleaner than it used to back in the day. So I'm excited, Derek. Are you excited for this? Like, are you jazzed?
I am. I'm excited. Like you, I haven't played a sports game because I used to buy Madden every year, and I kind of stopped after 2021, 2022. So it's been a good 2-3 years since I played any sports game, because gave up on NCAA, gave up on the show, and I got this, and now that this is, I'm like, I have to get back into, like, it's only right to get back to NCAA, the one that brought us to the dance, some would say. And but now, guys, I just have to say, I'm gonna have to give like a little spoiler warning for Zach. So if anyone plays Zach, all you got to do is just learn Florida's playbook. It doesn't matter which team he picks. He's going to swap to Florida's playbook. It could be Wyoming, and he's going to put Florida's playbook because that's the only one he's familiar with. So if you learn Florida's playbook, you could beat Zach easily.
Now, Florida's playbook could have changed by now, Derek.
I know, but I'm just saying that's the only one you're comfortable using. It doesn't matter how much it's changed over the years.
Don't at me, Derek. Don't at me. Boy, be trifling over here. Be trifling. So July is almost here, Derek, and I am excited about it. But our next story is right now. SIE joint CEO says it's never been more important for the leadership at SIE to step back.
So the main points here is Herman Holst and Hideaki Nishino are now joint CEOs of Sony Interactive Entertainment. Holst oversees PlayStation Studios, while Nishino handles the Platform Business Group. They promise a holistic review and a new structure to enhance SIE's operations. They believe it's crucial to step back and evaluate the business to deliver amazing experiences. Now, why this matters is the leadership shift at SIE aims to drive innovation and expand PlayStation's impact, reflecting a strategic evolution at a pivotal time for the company. And I think because of how very business structured and abrasive, for lack of a better term, abrasive Jim Ryan was.
Yes.
I think this is a better step back, especially with how, again, I know it's more recency bias, but how that PlayStation showcase / direct last year went, where they were showcasing, hey, this is our live service stint that we're going to go into, and everyone pushed back hard on that. And even like at this recent State of Play, like out of everything shown, Astrobot got a 99% upvote on YouTube, where Concord got a huge downvote. Like it was like 30%, maybe lower than that approval rating. And it just shows, it's like, look, this is live service stint is not it, guys. Do not go full bore. Don't put all your chips in this one pot and kind of spoil like a quick hit. Neil Druckmann goes on, because again, like their crown jewel went on to cancel a multiplayer project for the Last of Us universe that they were working on, that's been doing gangbusters for them money-wise. And Neil Druckmann points out recently, he's like, we've got multiple single-player games in development right now. He put an emphasis on single player, not live service, not multiplayer, single player. And I think Herman Holst, like while he doesn't speak much, he's always struck me as like one of those business savvy, like smart, like street smart guys. You know, he's like he knows how to read the room, and he knows when to step back. And this is a perfect example of him coming out and saying this and be like, look, lately it's not been the view the devs have wanted. It's not been the view the fans have wanted. So we're going to take a more step back approach, like how, because Shuhei, full of grace, kind of
Full
did
of
this. Like he
grace.
was yes, he would put his foot down when he needed to, like with Corey
Mhm.
Barlog, like when that, like again in that interview, he's just like that first blush at the new God of War game. Shu looks at Corey and is like, "What is this? This is not it. Figure it out." And then but again, he lets the devs be devs,
Yeah.
and I think this is what Herman is wanting to go back to. They're wanting to go back to like letting the studios work on what they want to instead of having this forced vision just to be able to make money and get with the times, especially for trends that aren't really that popular, or I shouldn't say not that popular, but aren't working. It's a very minimalistic revenue maker.
Yeah, and it's clearly not working.
Yeah.
Clearly not working. And Jim Ryan, being the money man that he was,
Yeah.
he saw Fortnite, Warzone, Apex, all of these games make GTA, making money hand over fist. And that's just not how most of these work. Destruction All Stars, came and went super quick. There's so many of these games that come up, and WB is seeing this as well with Suicide Squad. They came out. Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg did a whole piece on it today, but this is good. This is good because maybe we're getting the Sean Layden and Jack Trenton Tony, and because Herman also has worked at Gorilla, and we're getting kind of the two. It's like one person isn't the extreme. I think having both sides, like the business and the development side, is going to even things out a lot more than what we've got in the past.
Correct.
And that's exciting for me as a gamer, because it's like I want PlayStation to be successful. I want Nintendo to be successful. I want Xbox to be successful.
Because when everyone wins, we do.
Exactly. But the chase after live service games is not anything that anyone wants. I know that it's about the profits. I know that it is about trying to get the most out of what properties you own. But when you look at PlayStation as a whole, the thing that they are known for is not live service games.
Nope.
It is single player, story driven narratives, these huge, massive worlds that people just want to be a part of. And we haven't been getting that hardly any the last few years. Like, yes, we've gotten a few good games, but we haven't been getting them on the scale that we were in the PlayStation 4's life cycle.
For sure.
And now it's like, okay, we have bosses that are going to prioritize that. And it's going to take a little bit of a shift. Naughty Dog leaving that project and then focusing on single players. I think that's important because it's like, hey, you weren't made for this. And Rocksteady, like a lot of people were talking about Rocksteady today, they were not live service game makers.
No, they weren't. They were, I don't know if they were forced into it, but it wasn't what they were meant to do either. And you see the end result of it. And Suicide Squad bombed. It was not like, especially that first gameplay showcase was not it.
Yep.
And like ever since then, like again, like you even hear like Kind of Funny talk about it. Like Greg was super stoked, like because it was just Rocksteady, and then he kind of was hesitant, and then he played it, just because it's like, hey, well maybe it's better than what I'm giving it credit for. And he's like, yeah, after about the first couple hours, like the same missions pop up, the same types, and it's like the characters you play with don't really evolve. They all kind of have the same abilities, just like different melee weapons, essentially.
Yeah, and it was a $200 million flop. WB was expecting it to be a $1 billion game.
Woof. Just because you slap DC characters on it doesn't mean it's going to be a success right away.
Yeah, and it's not GTA. Like, I feel like so many people are trying to be GTA Online, and it's like, that's not realistic.
No.
It's not realistic. And setting your expectations, just like Summer Games Fest, which we're going to talk about here in just a few, setting your expectations higher than what they should be is always going to be a disappointment.
Well, and especially like just to kind of piggyback off that idea too is like, everyone trying to chase like the white whale essentially. It's
Mm,
sort of like Fortnite. Like when Fortnite took over this thing, everyone did battle royales and everyone's doing live service. And there's been only a couple successes, like you said, Apex, Warzone, like have been the only two successes, but that's three out of how many were put
yeah.
out in the ecosystem. And those are the only three left standing, at least on a profit margin. It's like you can't yes, there it's nice to have a goal to be like, hey, if we do it right, we can be the next GTA, we can be the
Hmm.
next Fortnite. It's good to have those goals, but to come out and pretty much force it and like just shoehorn it in and pretty much hope it's just a carbon copy of that and just basically say, hey, we're just like Warzone, but we're our own unique spin. It's not going to work because you're not true to yourself. You're not true to what your strengths are as a studio. You
Yep.
need to like you're trying to placate to someone else's idea.
Yeah, and that's how I feel like Concord is being placed. Like
Mm-hmm.
Concord, it does not excite me at all. And we learned today that it's going to be $39.99 for the base game. And
Which is
then
fine.
yeah, but it's looks like a free to play game.
Yeah.
It looks like a free to play game. And I know that they're going to put out vignettes and all of that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
this game is just not going to last.
The $40 is going to be the founders pack where you get the battle the first season pass or the battle pass or whatever they're going to call it, and then maybe like some character unlock, like maybe a first couple team unlocks and some skins. That's pretty much what that money's going to work. Because I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to be freemium, but that $40 is going to be that their founders edition.
Yeah, just kind of like how Overwatch 1 did there, like you bought it for $40 or whatever it was back in the day. But Overwatch was at least exciting with their vignette,
Right.
and the gameplay looked good. When I looked at the gameplay and I've looked at it a few times, it's just like, this is not exciting. This is
No.
not moving the needle for me. And that's the thing they opened their state of play with,
Yeah. Which
and
is sort of because it's their first of who knows how many live service projects are actually going to go through with this, and it's coming out this year, September, I think it is, or no, it's August. No, it's August, end of August, August 23rd, and they're trying to like at least showcase and be like, hey. This is our new project, and this is Firewalk's first major title
mhm.
since being bought by PlayStation. It's like I get that they want to push it and like give them a chance. At the same time, this is not what you lead with. It's not what you end with either. But at least you you don't try and make this like your shining gem.
Yeah, and I feel like PlayStation's kind of stuck with this game at this point. It's like,
Yeah,
all right, we got to put it out. We got to see how well it does. And I want Firewalk to be successful. I want
yeah,
them to continue to make games. I don't want them to close. Nothing like that. I just don't think in this day and age, when we do have Overwatch 2, we just
hmm
got Marvel Rivals. Now we're getting Concord. We have Star Wars Hunters that's free, that looks better than
yeah,
Concord, in my opinion. We've got Valorant. We've got all of these 5v5 shooters that are out there, but this one's asking for money up front,
yeah.
And I want to say there was one other 5v5 thing that got shown
Was it the
recently.
Marvel Rivals?
Yeah, I said Marvel Rivals. I thought there was one more, but yeah, it's already kind of saturated to begin with, and
Yeah.
now we're dumping tons of water in there. So overall, I'm excited for Herman Hulst and Hideki. I don't know how to say your first name.
Hideaki
Nishino.
Nishino.
There you go. I'm excited for them taking the helm. I'm, as my grandpa would say, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, Jim Ryan. And I'm
Can I
glad,
get an amen?
you know what I mean? But you know what you could be excitedly waiting to welcome into your home? That's some coffee brand coffee. Exceptional coffee with no gimmicks and no politics. There are over 4,000 verified reviews, with most of those being 5 out of 5. They've got 12 coffee blends, 12 organic teas, 3 hot Coke flavors. Cold brew and K-Cups are available. They also have reusable K-Cups, so you can put your favorite blend of coffee in there. You know, Amy has tried this out. She really, really enjoys it. She likes her reusable K-Cup. I think it was only like $5. Like, it was pretty cheap. And freshness is guaranteed, because when you order coffee brand coffee, and I love this part, Derek, they roast it to your order. They don't put it on the shelf. It's not sitting there. It's not getting mold. It's not doing all of that. Freshness is guaranteed. It ain't Folgers. It's coffee brand coffee. So elevate your coffee experience today with Coffee Brand Coffee and get 5% off your order by using code NerdCave at checkout or the link in the description below. Build it beautiful.
Bringing that back.
We're bringing it back, guys. Now, let's move into what we are expecting for tomorrow. Tomorrow is Summer Games Fest. We got predictions. We got speculations. We got all of that. I did a whole car talk kind of going through some of my thoughts on this, but I want to talk to El Lobo and his thoughts. Derek, how are you feeling going into, before we get into Summer Games Fest? How are you feeling? Are you feeling excited for Summer Games Fest, or you feel like this is kind of a placeholder?
Well, again, it is, it's been going on for the last couple of years because we haven't had E3. And then the year where they want to try and bring E3 back, they cancel it and say, probably not going to be anything going forward, or at least in this iteration that we might do like the convention down the road if we get the right partner. But at least E3 as what we used to know it back in the day is dead and gone. Rest in peace. So this arguably has taken its place. I am excited. It's just like the video game awards. Every year it does get better. Now, of course, is it always bang for bang better, like strong? No, but I mean, neither was any E3 showcase. Like, I can tell, like there's been good, like, take any of the big three, Sony, Nintendo, Xbox. They have had good showcases at E3. They had some decent ones, and then they had some, man, what is this crap? And that's going to happen. We don't know what kind of Summer Game Fest, but Jeff Keighley, I feel like, yes, does he get big for his britches sometimes? Yes. Does he kind of have that tendency to just over deliver just a tad? Yes. But he at least lays it out. Like he said, no Kingdom Hearts 4, no GTA 6, no Wolf Among Us 2. Like, yeah, it is disappointing, but at least he's starting to temper some expectations about these huge games that we haven't either seen or heard about in quite some time. He's just letting you know, it's like, hey guys, it would have been lovely to have these here, but they're not going to be here. So just letting you know. And of course, there's always going to be those people who's like, oh man, it's going to be crap now. It's like, well, no, just because the one game that you wanted to see isn't going to be there doesn't mean it's going to be a bad showcase. Like, expand your repertoire here, guys. Like, open your mind and be willing to let others in. But I do expect it to be a solid showcase. I do feel pretty good about this one, just because, again, Jeff is one to always take, like we see it after the video game awards, like literally not even 24 hours after the video game awards are over. He's already on Twitter, on social media, being like, all right, what did you like? What didn't you like? What can we improve on? So he's always taking that feedback to heart. And he's always wanting to make it the premier showcase in video games. Yeah. So, like, this is the reason you should tune in. So I do expect it. Now, again, with it being like 4 or 5 hours, it's going to be a tread. I don't even know if it's going to be that long, but it's always a multi-hour program. It will be a trudge. There probably will be some advertising that we don't care for, some things that we will probably be like, all right, guys, what are our thoughts on what we've seen so far type deal. But that aside, I do expect it to be a solid showcase. And again, will it be like E3? Like, will it be like a strong opening, strong ending, bland middle, like where we're just trying to fight to stay awake? I remember our first E3 that we covered back in the day where Ubisoft showed Steep, and we're all just like, is it done yet?
Ubisoft. It's always Ubisoft and EA was always the ones that were not that great. For me, I think we're going to get a pretty solid show. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
expecting
Yeah.
gangbusters, and I feel like everyone needs to temper their expectations. Like,
Yeah.
just know that going in. And I do want to bring this up. This is something that got reported on today, and I think it is important to realize
Okay.
some of the information is how much it costs to get your trailer shown at
I did
the
see
Game Award.
this. Like, holy cow.
So Summer Games Fest main show this year for 1 minute of a trailer, $250,000.
$250,000.
For 1.5 minutes, $350,000. For 2 minutes, $450,000, and for a whopping $550,000, you get 2.5 minutes.
Man, these are like getting on like Super Bowl ad prices, man. Like, but it's still cheaper, but it's still like they trying to charge Super Bowl prices for these ads, man. Like,
Yeah, and again, there was a little bit more information. Not every trailer comes at a cost. There
yeah.
are some that are considered earned editorial placements, are played for free. These are reserved for big reveals and all of that. But there was an update on this article, and I want to include that as well here. There's a handful of indie publishers and developers that contacted Kotaku and explained that some free slots are provided to smaller non-AAA game studios as well. It appears that Keighley is sometimes pitched games to include, and he provides some free airtime for those projects as part of the earn editorial placements. So that all being said, this is not a goodwill tour. This is a money-making endeavor, and Keighley wants it to be nice. It costs, lots of money to stream everything, have a production crew, have a stage, all of that. And it's clearly, it's having to cover costs and all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
There's manpower behind that. Let's just be honest. This and the Game Awards is the time where people watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People don't watch any other announcements. Some people will watch Devolver Digital, some people will watch the Xbox Showcase, but I feel like this is across the board. More eyes will be on Summer Games Fest than any other announcements over the weekend and into next week as well. So yeah, they're going to charge.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're going to charge. I mean, because they know the revenue that it'll bring in just for view wise. And again, like when you have, I think it was like over 50 partners that are going to be there in some capacity, at this event. It's like you need to have not only the floor space, but you're going to need the revenue because that it's going to cost them, the devs, to fly out there, build up a booth, if they're going to have any kind of showcase. So it's like you need to have that all costs money. And unfortunately, they don't just have everyone doesn't have bleeding hearts. They have to pay rent too. So, they have to put food on the table.
Yeah. So you were talking about booths for a dev partner badge for June 10th is $500. A private meeting cabana, that's what it's called, is $50,000 for all 3 days, or $20,000 per day. And if you want a full hands-on pod, which includes HD TVs, seating, cadenzas with lock storage, signage, 6 badges, and free parking, it is. Do they say how much that one is? They didn't say how much it is, but just imagine it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, with all of that said, there's money being made here. There are games being shown off. Derek, what are your predictions? And we're not doing a bet here, but we'll see how many predictions you get right and how many I get right.
So I'm gonna take a little pay. Since I got a rail on you earlier from college football, I'm gonna continue that little beat down and be like, I'm gonna take one of Zach's predictions and just be like, not really. This is a joke one. So there will be no less than 40 games shown at Summer Game Fest.
Hey man, I come in to win. If we playing, I come to win. You know what I mean? I don't play around when it comes to a bet. You know, I don't play around when it comes to a bet. So
it's like Microsoft will be there in some capacity to show off 4 Bethesda games. Like that's some of Zach's predictions. Like Call of Duty will be there in some capacity and have 6 minutes of gameplay.
You know, hey, you don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean?
I know. And then when he started doing this, and then the next year I tried to have more structures. Like, oh no, he was in a whole tizzy, a whole kerfluffle about.
You don't know me.
What you're doing? I can't win easy with this kind of rules.
I did not say I couldn't win easy.
You didn't use those words precisely, but you were not a fan of it regardless.
See, you were just trying to switch things on me. You know what I mean? You were trying
I was trying to make it more fair because, when you make bland, generic statements like this, it's like, of course it'll be easy to win that way. I want to win the interesting way.
I would, dude. I learned it from Colin and Greg. I you know what I mean? Like, we gonna play. Yeah. We gonna get those half points. But Derek, what are some predictions? Give me a few, and I'll give a few.
All right. So, because there's been so many hot and heavy rumors with, about like how PlayStation is going to still have some big showcases, or some big things to show off at Summer Games Fest. I think one of the easier slam dunks that you could do is, I think we finally get a tease of some sort of Spider-Man 2 DLC standalone game, via whether it's Burning Shores, whether it's Valhalla, like a game mode. I do think because they do like to, like with these last couple iterations, like with Forbidden West and Ragnarok, they've given time to when the game releases and to when DLC drops. So I think it's by the time this airs, and of course, when it airs and then when we'll get it could be a little longer. But I feel like now would be the time to do something for Spider-Man 2.
Okay. Do you think that it's going to be like a Daredevil DLC that a lot of people were hyped and teasing for a while after the game released?
I don't know. There was something that came out recently, or I say recently, like a month and a half, 2 months ago, that was like talked about another villain, like it's like some kind of obscure villain. I forget who it was. I think it was like some kind of woman villain. But there's going to be some type of villain that's going to be showcased in it. They didn't say whether Daredevil is going to be involved or not, but yes. But I do think Daredevil will be mentioned. Now, whether we get him in the game or not will be a whole other thing. But I do think Daredevil will be more heavily implied in this.
Janice Lincoln, the Beetle?
Yes, that was it. So, because I think the Beetle does have ties to Daredevil, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think if that is to be true, they will bring in Daredevil for that. Now, again, how much of a capacity? Because the Black Cat DLC in Spider-Man 1 was just more of like, after the main part 1 mission, she was kind of like a side character in the other 2 parts for the City That Never Sleeps. So I wonder if they'll take that more of an approach, or they'll they'll have it more involved this time.
Yeah, like the City That Never Sleeps with like Yuri was very interesting. I thought it was a very solid storyline and everything. I would love, because there was, the spider bots and everything. The hint at the multiverse.
That's a good one.
That would be really cool to see, like getting some multiverse stuff. I think this is, I'll hand it back to you. Do you think they do a Valhalla type DLC? Do you think they kind of easy pitch that in there? Or do you think that they're going to do more of a story?
I think they'll do more of a story, only because I don't think they want to do a copycat. And I mean, yes, it would be the easier thing to do because of how Spider-Man is structured, like how the game is, like how the character plays, it would be easier to do that. Now, if it had the story of Ragnarok, I'd be down for that 100%.
Yeah.
But I want to see a little bit different. Like it could have maybe like a game mode, but I don't want it to just be a carbon copy of Ragnarok. Like I don't want it to be like that be Sony's new shtick is like, hey, let's just do roguelike modes for all of our games now.
I agree 100%. Do you want to do another prediction?
No, let's do it back and forth. I like when we do that kind of stuff.
Okay. So one of my predictions for Summer Games Fest is we will get no more than 4 games that start with the letter A.
Oh my gosh. If that's not you see what I have to deal with, guys? If that's not a Zach prediction to a T.
I think we will get, like, there's rumors that we'll see Dredge Wolf, which has been, the name has been changed to Velguards. I feel like we're going to get a teaser potentially for the new Dragon Age game for the showcase to like, hey, you know, trailer launch, which I don't know why they wouldn't just do it during Games Fest.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be like Tuesday. We're supposed to be getting a trailer for Velguard. Maybe it'll be a deep dive or whatever. They don't want to pay for, the time and everything. But I think we'll see something of Dragon Age, which for the love of God, please just make it happen.
So what would you like to see? Like I don't know if they'll show gameplay for this, right? What would you want to see from a gameplay perspective? Because I know in the first one, like Dragon Age has had an interesting trick with gameplay because the first one, they loved the story, didn't like the turn-based combat. Second one, combat was more open. They loved that, but the story was crap. When Inquisition came around, it was the blend of both of them, and that was arguably one of their most successful title in the franchise. So what would you like to see? Would you want to see keep more of the same from Inquisition, or do you want to see them like kind of change it up just a bit?
I feel like they could do something like Inquisition. I hope in this day and age, like with Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like it's kind of more up in the air and everything. Yeah. Because so many people are going to want something like that. I do like the more flowing combat, but I grew up on that kind of stuff with Knights of the Republic, and going back and playing, like I played Dragon Age 1 and hated it, got rid of it, and then you gave me a copy of Dragon Age 1 that was true. Like literally in pristine condition because you never played it. And then I absolutely loved that game, and the DLC was amazing. So I'm fine with an Inquisition playstyle. I think that they show off these new companions, and then we get some sort of like story trailer that all of these companions are coming together to fight whatever the big bad is, and then Tuesday we get gameplay. That's my thought.
Okay. So my next one, I'm gonna be a little bit, not all the way bold, but a little bit bolder. It's about time we got a Gear 6 reveal. And I think they'll do it. They'll show gameplay, and it's going to be out no later than spring of next year.
Okay. You think this is going to be at Summer Games Fest or Xbox Showcase?
Oh, that's a good point. Okay. I think they'll showcase the teaser. I think they'll do a teaser or like a full trailer at Game Fest, and then they'll do like the bigger reveal at Xbox Showcase.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. For the love of God, please.
Yeah.
Like
it's time, please.
Yeah. I like that. I'm ready for some Gears of War. My next prediction, Final Fantasy Remake is coming to PC and Xbox this year.
Okay. Because, again, spoiling one of the quick hits, they shadow dropped today Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, because Octopath 1 has been, like, both of them have been on Switch and PC, but when they launched, cool. Octopath 1 has come to Xbox, but not PlayStation. Now it's on PlayStation. And then 2 had come to PlayStation, PC, and Switch. but not Xbox. Well, now that's on Xbox. So yeah, I know it's weird, but now it's on all consoles as officially of today. So I think that might be a little hint for Square Enix to be like, hey, since you love these beloved RPGs coming to consoles, we also got a bigger one that you've been waiting for, especially for part one. Because part one they said will be exclusive for at least a year, and that was during COVID, and it's 4 years later, and it's still not on Xbox. Yeah. So I think the time is now. But now, do you think that'll be at Summer Game Fest, or do you think that'll be because again, Xbox has always wanted to have like some big partnered Japanese games on their showcase? Do you think that will be their big reveal? Like, do you think that reveal will be at their showcase or Summer Game Fest?
I feel like it's a Summer Games Fest because Square Enix said the other day, like a few weeks ago, that they are not going to be console exclusive. They want to be multi-platform going forward. So I feel like Summer Games Fest is the best play because so many more people are going to be watching it. My thought is, because Rebirth just came out a few months ago, I don't think that they do a combo. Yeah, I would hope so, but I don't think they're going to do a combo. But Remake will be the full version that they put out before Rebirth happened.
Yeah. I think what they'll do is they'll announce it's coming, but they'll say Remake Part 1 is going to be like, I don't know if they'll shadow drop it, but say, hey, it's going to come this fall, and then next spring we're going to release Rebirth.
Yeah. I think that works. Giving some solid dates and everything. Yeah, I think it would make it more interesting.
Do you think we also get like I know it was it did well like critical wise, but not internally at Square Enix. But do you think they also mentioned 16, or do you think it's just going to be 7 that they're going to talk about?
That is a good question because 16 came out this year, correct?
Or was it last year? Yeah, because it was the month before Baldur's Gate.
That's right. I feel like 7 is the bigger pool here.
Yeah.
So they do 7.
Especially for part 1.
Yeah. I feel like they do Remake, and then at the Game Awards, they do 16.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
That's my thought. That's my thought on that.
Fair play.
So
okay.
What's your next one?
My next one is we get a double dip of Ghost of Tsushima. They talk about they talk about because Hiroyuki Sanada has been teased to be in, like, he's trying to vie for the role in the movie that they're going to do for Ghost of Tsushima. They talk about that, and then it's going to be one or the other. Either they're going to mention the movie first and then do a teaser for the sequel, or vice versa. So, but we do get double dip of Ghost. They talk about the movie. I don't know if they show it, but they talk about the cast in some aspects. And then they also unveil a teaser for Ghost 2, whether they just do the Ragnarok treatment in the beginning where they just show a logo and you hear Jin Sakai's voice and that's it. That's fine. I just know it exists at this point. I don't care about anything else. Like, I'm kind of with Greg Miller on this one. It's like, just let me know that it exists and you're working on it and I'm fine.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that, because it's like, just poop or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Poop or get off the pot. Isn't that right, Bo?
Oh. What's up, Bo?
Sometimes it is just time to poop.
It's not good for you.
Yeah. It's not healthy. Yeah. It's not healthy at all.
What's up, man?
So, Bo,
put me in, coach.
What is the prediction for you? I've also sent you the link for the vertical stream, so you can join that one as well. Yeah, we multi-dimensional. Yeah, we're multi-dimensional here at the Nerd Cave.
Or multiversal.
Now, you probably want to mute this tab, or you're going to get us twice. Just forewarning you. There we go. Oh, look at that. 3 of us. So
no. How do I mute just the tab?
You can right click and then mute site.
I did that. It muted both pages.
Let me give you. You need.
It's okay. I'll just do this. I'll just hear it twice. It's fine. Hey, Gears 6, please. Can we please? Gears 5 was like Gears 4 was not great, right? But Gears 5 kind of redeemed the franchise, but then left it on a cliffhanger. Can we please? It's been, I don't even know. Has it been like 6 years or something since? How long has it been since
because
Gears
it came
5?
out in 2019.
Okay, that's long enough to at least announce at least announce 6. You might not have it ready yet, although back in the old days they would have had it ready already. Yeah, back in my day.
We got video games ready to go 2 months ago.
Oh man. So I like that one. And then you said I heard something about Dragon Age. Man, that's been even longer since the last Dragon Age.
Yeah. 2015 for Inquisition.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, Inquisition's still a pretty fun game.
Me and Amy just started dating like right before that game came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's time. It's time for another one. If you're going to continue it, as a franchise, you just I feel like the longer you let these go, there's too many the next generation of gamers coming in.
Oh yeah.
You have to start almost over again. Because so many of the players that used to play will drop out of playing because they, a lot of people they get busy with life and they don't have time for a Dragon Age game anymore. So if you let the franchise just become stagnant for too long, then it's almost like you have to start all over again it's like it's never been a game before, And so it's time. They just need to do it. They need to release it. And what were you just talking? Oh, Ghosts.
Yeah.
Just
let me know it exists at this point.
Yeah. I told Zach this the other night, and I don't think he agreed with me at all, but I'm going to say it again, that Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite, probably top 3 games of the last 5 years. I love that
game of the every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Unless
so good.
God of War is in there, then God of War gets it.
It's incredible. I mean, everything from the direction of the art style to the music. I mean, the music is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how they really paid attention to the cultural details of what was going on in that time period and how they integrated what actually happened in history into even the way they designed the sword and the stuff that's etched into the side of the sword with the wind and stuff, and how the wind guides you through the game because of just the history with that invasion. But I feel like after that game, they finished that story and they told that story.
Yeah.
And what I personally think they should do, rather than milking that until it becomes not good, is move to another part of history, another part of the world, and tell a different ghost story somewhere else. That's what I wish they would do. They probably won't. They will probably milk it. But if it were me at the helm, that's what I would say. I would say, let's find another character in history.
So do a God of War where instead of keeping the Greek myth, since you couldn't. Now, granted, they wrote themselves into a hole thinking they'd never touch the series again, where they ended the Greek mythology. And it's like, well, where do we go from this? Let's just jump to a new mythology. So you're saying take that kind of same approach with Ghost, where it's like go to India and say Ghost of Nepal or whatever,
right.
Just throwing random stuff out there.
Do a different place. Ghost of something else. Ghost of Nepal.
Ghost of LeBron James.
No.
LA.
Maybe old LA, something from 100 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm not opposed to that idea, honestly. I think it's a great thing, especially because especially if the way it's titled Ghost of Tsushima Ghost of, because the way it's titled, like, yeah, I'd totally be down for something like that. Especially if it's done right, or even I think I was watching Kind of Funny today, and they had an idea where it's like, hey, maybe tell it from a different point of view, because now that Jin's like on like pretty much like an outlaw sort of thing, like you're playing a guy and you're hunting Jin Sakai. Now, I don't know if I'd be totally down for something like that, but it would be cool to see like from a different perspective of the war, or like what happens after the war, like how, like I would still be good with Jin's story, but like tell it from the post-war, like it's like, because you got to know another enemy is going to come in there and try and like be like, oh, they're weak, they spent too many resources fighting the Mongols, let's take them now.
Well, that's kind of what they did with the DLC, right? A little bit. I mean, that was
depends on when you play it in the game.
True.
But like you think about it, Jin is a enemy of the Empire at this point. And the whole like Emperor and all the Shogun, like I feel like there's a lot more story here than just the Mongol invasion. And I like your idea, Derek, but it's giving me Halo 5 vibes where Locke is like going after Chief.
Okay.
Like,
but at least Sucker Punch would have the wherewithal to make 100%. It more fleshed out. You know what I mean? They would tell a much better story than 343 did. But I also understand your point of where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they probably won't do any of that. They'll probably, just make a Ghost of Tsushima 2 probably. But I'm just throwing ideas out there. Predictions for me, man, I haven't given this a ton of thought. I had thought about Gear 6 already.
Don't worry, Zach doesn't give it much thought either. He just goes spur of the moment.
Hey, I'm good at it though, boy.
I'm really hoping for Foam Stars 2 and Suicide Squad 2 to be announced.
Where's the eject button? Nuh-uh.
I'm gonna text Yugi right now.
Oh man, yeah. Let me think about it for a second, because I feel like I've got something else I thought about, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, while you think, I'll throw out another prediction.
Please do. Yeah.
So my prediction is there will be no more than 5 indie games that will be shown. I'm just kidding. So at Summer Games Fest, I think we will get. This is how you do it on the fly. I think we will get an expansion to Sea of Stars.
Oh,
I think that's likely.
I like that one. That would make you giddy.
Oh gosh, yes. I love that game so much. Yeah, I think like there's been rumors and everything. This would be the perfect time to be like, DLC's coming for Sea of Stars. Couch co-op is available today.
I was gonna say couch co-op. Do you think the DLC for Sea of Stars would be out in like the next month or two?
Possibly. I would think so. At least
Jeff does love doing indie games, especially big ones.
Yeah. And like having couch co-op the day of would be amazing. But then having like by at least August getting the new DLC would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that that's a possibility in terms of like, I think that is a possibility of something that could happen. Like they will bring something like that. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were talking about Dragon Age, and that needs to be put out. But could they announce that and announce, like tell us something else about the next Mass Effect as well?
Like do a full bore reveal for Dragon Age, and then do another teaser.
Like a teaser for the next Mass Effect.
I feel like I don't hate it, but also two things with that, right? One, we've already gotten a teaser for Mass Effect, so I feel like another one with no like even a release year window would upset fans. I feel like it's like, why did you even show it if it's just going to be another little placeholder just to let us know that it's there? and 2, it's sort of like Bethesda or like, other things like when Starfield's getting ready to launch, it's like, oh, dude, they talk about Elder Scrolls 6, and it's like, no, we don't want to step on those toes. It's like, since Dragon Age is more ready, even though it might not be for another year, since it's more hot and ready to be served up on a plate, I don't think they want to step on its toes. Like, even though those are 2 different games, like 2 different like time period games, it still is like, hey, we don't want to overstep one to let the other one shine type thing.
Yeah, I think what I'm thinking about is more like just a 30-second, hey, just a reminder, we're working on a new Mass Effect game kind of a thing. That wouldn't like totally, there wouldn't be much to talk about other than, hey, we know that another one's coming. So it wouldn't completely overshadow it. But I don't know. It's just a thought.
Well, and the last teaser we got, they confirmed that Liara's in the game, correct?
Yep.
So I feel like if they do it like maybe like Rex or somebody else, like they're confirmed like, hey.
Well, depends on how you played. Rex doesn't make it out of the first game.
True. Like, but just somebody on that team is like showcased like, hey, they're going to be in the next iteration as well.
Yeah. Like my only qualm is when a minute costs $250,000 to be on the show. I don't feel like putting another teaser out might be
also true.
I feel like we kind of
that's a good point.
Stepping over dollars to pick up pennies.
So I know that Capcom hasn't said they're going to be there.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys talked about Capcom or not, but they like sent out invitation boxes or something saying tune in to Summer Game Fest. And so this is not going to happen, but I am hopeful for a new 2D Mega Man game.
Ooh.
Probably not going to happen, but it's been, I think the last one came out in like 2017 or something like that. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm hoping it's not a collection. I'm hoping it's a brand new game, but that could be something that they bring to the table.
I know they don't own the rights to it, I don't believe, because the original creator Mega Man broke off, but it's like the sequel you didn't want, Mighty Number 9, number 2.
Yeah, no.
So
what I think could be cool too is a Mega Man Zero sequel.
Oh yeah. I know
can't
that's
remember.
That's been teased because I know they did the Zero collection a couple years ago. So I think it's about time for a new iteration of that as well. And that leads me to my next thing. I do expect a big show. Like, I think this is like Capcom's show, like big coming out. Like, and I know they've been killing it year over year. They've been doing well, but I also think it's time that they come out and showcase. Like, I know we just got a deep dive into Monster Hunter Wilds. I do think we see like that again. But like say like, all right, here's the big like monster hunt. Like, we saw the gameplay. We saw that like how the ecosystem changes depending on how you hunt or what you let go on in that world. But I think it's like, all right, now it's time to show you some of the monster bosses you're going to be tasked with hunting in the game. But and I do think like they did say that they have multiple projects to tease at Summer Game Fest. I also think Resident Evil will be there some capacity, whether it be another remake or whether it be the first showcase of RE9. But I also think, and this is my actual prediction, I also think it's time that, because we haven't seen anything in this franchise for a long time, since like 2017, 2018, maybe it came out in 2019, who knows? But it's been at least 5 years. I think we get another, whether it be they start to give this a remake treatment, or they do another iteration. I don't know how that last one ended. We get another Devil May Cry in some capacity. I think it's time that Devil May Cry comes back, because 5 was arguably their most successful in recent years. Like, it got people back on track. They used the RE engine to basically boost up the graphics, because I know 4 left a sour taste in people's mouths, and 5 came out and just killed it gangbuster style. So I think it's time that they bring Devil May Cry back in some capacity, whether it be, again, a remake like they do like with RE. It's like, hey, here's the first one remade in the RE engine, touched up, all that kind of stuff. Or would they do a Devil May Cry 6?
With the recent success of Stellar Blade, that does make me, I mean, I know it's not exactly the same kind of game,
right,
but they have to be looking at that thinking, is there still a market for Devil May Cry?
Yeah, like slasher type games.
Yeah, at the very least, if not have already been working on it for a while. I think that makes sense. Could they also, I just had this thought while you were talking, Derek, could they also bring us a new Marvel versus Capcom game? Because Marvel is, Disney's still trying to push Marvel pretty hard, and that would be a easy way for them to get that into before the eyes of the youth, today's youths.
The youth.
True. And especially this year, that's been like within the last calendar year, it's been like the season of fighting games because you had Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8.
I feel like they've had a revival in the last couple of years. Fighting games,
Even King of Fighters, like their last iteration was pretty good too. So I feel like it's been so hot and heavy with fighting games, like Mortal Kombat 1, that one too. Like they have just been it's been a big fighting game renaissance over the last year. So I think it's about time because I know what was the last one. It dealt with the Infinity. It
was called Infinite, I think. But it's old. It's the last gen game for sure. But I think it was early last gen that it came out. It's been out for a long time.
Yeah, it's been out for a while. I think it was middle of the generation because I was, I think it was 2018 when it came out. So, but it's still been a while, and I know that left a sour taste in people's mouths too.
It did.
I think it's like you said, it's time for another iteration of that genre. Go ahead.
I don't think they do a Marvel versus Capcom, and this is why. Their Street Fighter 6 is making money.
Also true. I forgot. Yeah, Capcom does the.
Street Fighter's making money right now. They just had a crossover with Spy Family. Instead of doing a Capcom, Marvel versus Capcom, they test the waters and see they do a crossover event with Marvel and to see if there's still interest in doing another Marvel versus Capcom. Because I don't know what the sales numbers are of those games, but that would be an easier way than making a game from scratch, to come in and everything. So
that's definitely possible to test the water that way. Here's what I can say. I don't know what the sales numbers are either. What I can say is that when I do a lot of the retro gaming stuff, one of the game requests I get asked about the most, other than Pokemon, is, does it play Marvel versus Capcom? Like people are still interested. They want to play 2. They want to replay Marvel versus Capcom 2. A lot of people really loved that game.
2 was their best one.
So there's still, people are still talking about it and thinking about that franchise. Testing the water by implementing that into Street Fighter 6 would make more sense in this game climate that we're in right now, probably.
And so Marvel versus Capcom, number of titles has been 16 in the franchise, and units sold is 11.0. So I'm assuming that's 11 million.
Yeah.
Overall.
It's definitely not just 11.
Yeah, no.
I know that, but
it's more than the Wii U.
You look at Resident Evil, 157.
Yeah.
So okay, I have a question and a wish list item from myself. The wish list item, while we're talking about fighting games, is I desperately want Injustice 3. It ended on another cliffhanger. They set it up for a third game that came out. I don't remember when that came out either, but again, it was 2018 or something like that. Can we please at least hear something about it? And they just have been so silent about it for years, and I want that game so bad.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And my question was for you guys is, you mentioned something about a Resident Evil remake, another remake. Do they dare do 5 with all the controversy around 5, or do they go back and do the original, which they kind of skipped?
Well, the rumor I'll go ahead and address the question first is, there's been rumors that they are working on remaking the first one now. So I think 1 is more in the cards than 5. Now, will they eventually go to 5 and 6? I think because there was talk about how after 9 they're just going to give Resident Evil a break because they've done it, they've made the money, they've revitalized the franchise. So I think it's just like sort of like the Super Smash Brothers creator. He's just like, I need a break. I think Capcom's like, let's just give it a break before it becomes a dead horse we just keep beating and people get tired of it, like how Assassin's Creed has been. So I think they've got plans for 9 and they got plans for the remaking the first one, a la 2, 3, and 4, and they're gonna pause for a little bit. So I think they're gonna let it give it time to gestate and then maybe come back like 5 years later and do a 5 and 6. But I think 1, I've been seeing more rumors for 1 in the cards.
I cannot see them remaking 6. I mean, that game is just pretty much. I don't know anyone who's.
Trash.
I've never heard anybody talk positively about 6, so I can't see them remaking 6. And 5 is like you either hated it or you loved it. I feel like. I don't know. There's a lot of like fans, and then I hear a lot of people that just don't like it at all.
Yeah.
And then there's always like, I don't know. It always seems like there's a conversation about racism around that game for some reason. That doesn't make sense, but
yeah.
I never played 5. The only one I've played is Biohazard 7.
Oh yeah, and
that's the only one you've ever played.
Yeah,
is
I'm
7
good at that game too. Yeah, it's a great game.
I played that for an hour and I said, this is too intense, and I deleted it. I couldn't do it. I've played the original 4 many times.
Yeah.
I played the Umbrella Chronicles on the Wii.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was like a on-rail shooter. You
must not like yourself.
I know. I enjoyed it. I mean, I only played through them once, and then I sold them. But I enjoyed it.
Okay, you didn't enjoy it. Okay, that's totally fine.
I did enjoy it for one time.
You sold it.
Yeah, because I was poor and I wanted more games.
So with Capcom, do y'all think we get a new Dead Rising? Because it's been like 2017 since we got a Dead Rising. They don't sell well.
They don't. And how about this? I could see it just because it's Capcom. They have to do at least one random thing to throw in there just to be like, you know what, let's just test the waters, see if people still care about this. And if it doesn't and they lose money, it's like, okay, we'll just put another Resident Evil or another Monster Hunter, we'll make that money back. But also I could see it to where they're just like, hey, it doesn't sell like gangbusters, and like maybe not. But also it's like, hey, we revitalized Devil May Cry, we revitalized Monster Hunter, we revitalized Resident Evil. Let's give this one more shake, and if it doesn't move the waters, we're done with it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. You talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. I could see Remake being announced in some kind of, real quick somehow that it's coming to Xbox. I don't think Rebirth. I don't think they would touch that one yet because it's too new, but I can see Remake coming.
Like we talked about, I feel like they'll acknowledge that it's like, hey, they're coming to Xbox, and they give like a timeline. Like Remake will be like late summer or early fall, like that'll be this year, and then by like spring of next year is when Rebirth will get a date or like be out, because it'll have been about a year by that point. Now so
right, I think they're gonna have to wait at least a year before they can announce Rebirth is coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
So, maybe next summer we would see that. I don't think we'll see it now, though.
No.
They might announce Crisis Core, though. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. They might. Oh, no, wait. It's already on Xbox. Never mind.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So I keep thinking of other things. I kind of hope. Oh, 16. It hasn't been a year yet either. That came out in like September.
Well, 16 came out in June because it came out right before Baldur's Gate. Yeah, because it came out the same month as Diablo 4.
Okay. All right.
Oh. Yeah, it was
I don't know. Month. Maybe make it. Maybe 16 too. Then 16 is a weird one because 16 was like one of those titles that they showed off when they announced the PS5, and a whole real montage of games that were coming to PS5. And so I don't know. I think of it as a PlayStation game, but they said they're going to be bringing stuff multi-platform from now on. So who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? I would like to see more from Sega. I would like to see an update on the Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi.
Yep.
And maybe Shinobi and what was it? Streets of Rage. Is that what it was? I can't remember now. But definitely Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. I would like to see more about those because they looked really polished already, and I kind of feel like those could be 2024 games potentially. And so I'd like to see more on those.
Yeah, I could see those being like September launches or like early July. Like, hey, in like 3 weeks they're out.
Yeah. I don't think they release them at the same time. I would think they would space them out a little bit.
Yeah,
but I could definitely see them being ready this year. And then I think one of my last ones is, this is probably maybe a little bit too soon, but I would really like to see a Jedi Survivor sequel announcement.
Yeah, I would love that too. Go ahead, Zach.
I just feel like it's a little too soon, but I would love it for sure.
I could maybe see, just because, and again, I know EA doesn't really do DLC for, at least for their single player games anymore, but I mean, maybe like a continuation of it, or like maybe do like a Miles Morales type thing where it's like, oh, like while you wait, we're gonna do like a side story with other characters in the Jedi universe, but not with Cal and BD1, but like it's a small one, like $40, and then here you go, like just to tide you over. Like I could see that maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's probably too soon because I mean there were 4 years between those two games, the first two games.
Correct.
Derek's got all the dates.
Which today is I think it came out in I can't remember now. I can't remember if it came out in 2020 or 2019. Fallen Order.
Fallen Order came out in 2019 because it came out on my birthday that year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What day is that, Derek?
November 15th. I should have asked you that question.
I played you though.
No, so it was only 3.5 years.
Is November 10th, Derek?
What?
Fallen Order was November 10th.
So it was only 3.5 years. That was early access releases.
Derek, you're slipping. We're gonna have to replace you.
Nah. Don't gaslight me.
Well, 3.5 years between releases is really quick
pretty
nowadays.
Good.
So I don't know. It's been a year and a month. Yeah, it's been just over a year.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see it though, because that's too quick. I'd rather them keep it close to the chest for a while longer.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah. What about something like a BioShock 4 or?
Well, there has been. I'm about to say there is talk about Ken Levine. Well, not at Summer Game Fest, but Judas. That I could see that being because they did show that at video game VGA right this past year.
Yep, so they did.
I could see it. I could see them being like, because I don't remember if we got a release year for Judas, but I could see them being like, hey, here's another look at Judas, and it's out this fall type deal, or like out by spring 2025.
Yeah, I could see that.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
No,
they already talked about it's not going to be there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts, not to rain on your parade, sorry, but they already confirmed Kingdom Hearts 4, GTA 6, and Wolf Among Us 2, and then something else are not going to be there.
I just want Wolf Among Us 2 at this point. Just come on. Pooper, get off the pot.
GTA 6 doesn't need Summer
No,
Game
it doesn't.
Fest.
No.
Wolf Among Us 2 could benefit from it probably.
Oh yeah, 100%.
GTA 6 could literally drop a trailer an hour before Summer Game Fest and be like, "We do our own thing. We don't conform to."
Yeah.
Just
and they might.
The caption is "Get wrecked, son," at Jeff Keighley.
Right.
Derek, do you have any more predictions? I'm gonna rattle off a few if you
I'll rattle off. Again, talking about poop or get off the pot. Blue Point, what you doing, son?
Exactly.
What are they doing?
They keep talking about how their next game after Demon Souls remake was doing a game, like, I guess, assume a remake, remaster, whatever, of a game in a beloved franchise, whatever that means. It could be that could mean multiple different things, and it could mean, again, if you want to get in the weeds and argue semantics, any game could be a beloved game, to somebody.
True.
So, you don't really know what that means, but again, it's time that you just show something. Again, like with Ghost 2, I don't even care if you give a release year. I kind of do, because you've had long enough, but it's like, just let me know what you're working on and like just be done with it.
I'm just gonna say Blue Point, Legend of Dragoon, Shuhei Yoshida's game that he worked on back in the day. That is a beloved game by a lot of people, and it's that JRPG. Man, let's go.
So another one that came to mind was and like that, I lost it.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Zach.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Zach. I'll think of it.
I think we get a big Helldivers reveal. Something big with them. They'll reveal the new enemy, because there is like a warp hole that's like happening, like something going on in game right now. I feel like they will reveal the new enemies, and what will be super dope is, like, as they're showing it in game, they start taking over planets and everything, because they've got that capability. So I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Like,
that would be
people would abandon the show and go like, that would be insane.
For democracy.
In fact, I would be willing to bet that if Jeff Keighley knew that, he would put something in a clause that says you have to start this after the show's over, because people would
yeah, maybe.
But that would be so cool.
Yeah, the Helldiver community is kind of crazy.
They are.
Alan Wake 2's Night Spring DLC.
That's been rumored that they're going to show it there.
Yeah, we'll get a release date hopefully for that. I think at the Xbox showcase we see Starfield's Shattered Space DLC.
Yeah,
for sure. Maybe Lego Horizon Adventures.
Yeah, I heard
getting actually
about that.
Announced and everything. I think that would be super dope. I don't know, like, when was the last Doom come out?
Oh, that's already been rumored to be there, because
the Dark Ages.
The last one came out in 19.
Okay, so yeah, I feel like that
between 19 and 2021. So
yeah, and of course that will be at the Xbox showcase and not Summer Games Fest. How do y'all feel about the validity of the Xbox handheld that's been rumored this week?
Like, it's been rumored for a few months, actually, and I have a hard time believing that they've never done that before. I have a hard time believing that they would. But that being said, there's been a lot of handheld Windows PCs that have come out in the last couple of years, and they make Windows, and so they've been working with these people on Windows on these devices, I'm sure, and so maybe they will come out with something. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they do, I imagine they will partner with another manufacturer, like they'll partner with Asus or somebody to make it. I can't see them doing a straight Xbox branded console, handheld. Like they just recently announced that they are going to be coming out with an Xbox VR headset, but it's a Meta Quest 3 headset that is going to come with an Xbox controller, basically. So I think Meta is going to be making the headset in cooperation with Xbox.
Okay.
So I could see them doing something like that with a handheld.
Yeah.
But I can't see them just it being the Xbox Series H, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's a long shot. I feel like any kind of console information is not necessarily used in this time anymore.
Yeah.
Like it used to be, like when they would reveal, consoles and all of that. I feel like it's its own thing at this point in time.
They do their own like showcases for that now.
So
they also have been making a lot of weird decisions lately. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
My last prediction, Dragon's Dogma 2 gets DLC announced and will come later this year.
Oh, okay. I could see that. I'm about to say maybe like very early next year, like January. Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. Because I mean, it's time. I felt like that game, like after its initial release, that just came out and like no one talks about it.
I feel like it's got a good following. They're not as vocal as Baldur's Gate 3 people, for sure. So those are my predictions overall. Bo?
I have one last thing that is not a prediction. They've said it's going to be there. There's going to be a gameplay reveal of the new Batman VR game, Arkham Shadows, and it is not made by Rocksteady, but it is set in the Arkham universe. I think it's been teased. It kind of alluded to, I think it's going to take place between Origins and Arkham Asylum. So it's going to be in that time period earlier on. And I think, they've already said there's going to be a bunch of different enemies, just like an old school Arkham game, but it is exclusive to the MetaQuest 3. It's made by Camouflage, and they made the Iron Man VR game a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so they're making this one, and Meta bought them after they finished the Iron Man game. Meta bought them, so it is a MetaQuest 3 exclusive, but they're revealing the gameplay of that game at the show. So I'm really excited about that one personally. I can't wait. It's my favorite series, I think. Aside from Mario, I think the Batman Arkham series is my favorite game series, and I replay those games, fairly regularly, and really want a new one. So I'm very interested to see how that's going to play, because VR is really tricky. I mean, it's just a different beast altogether, and so I'm kind of anxious to see if they're going to be able to pull it off or not. Yeah.
One that just popped into my head is the Rise of Hydra game, that 1943 Rise of Hydra game.
Yeah, that looks
we
so
kind of
good.
got a tech demo of it like a month or so ago.
Right.
And dude, it looks dope.
The tech demo was amazing. Did you watch the presentation where they talked about it and they pulled back the layers and added them back in and showed all the stuff they could do? It looks crazy. Incredible. Yeah. Unreal Engine 5. Yeah. It looks insane.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that game too.
Yeah. Derek, I can tell that's your thinking face.
So these popped in my head. I think we get teases. I don't know how viable, how far along they are, because I know it's this one. One's been confirmed. The other one is been heavily rumored, but not officially confirmed. I think we get a look at the Black Panther game, or at least a teaser trailer, and then they finally get confirmation of the Iron Man game that they're supposedly working on as well. Because I think EA is doing both of them, or maybe not both of them, but I know there's been one studio that's doing like solely an Iron Man type of game, and then of course EA confirmed that they're working on a Black Panther game. So I think we get sort of like not a Marvel game showcase, but sort of like hints of like, hey, this is like this, because I know we got 1943 in the works. So maybe that's more of a likely thing, because that's, I think, more farther along. But I also think they continue this wave of like, hey, we've got Marvel projects that we're actually giving, care to, not just throwing it out there like Avengers. So I think they want that little hype train to keep rolling.
Because Motive is working on the Iron Man game, and Cliffhanger is working on the Black Panther game.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Oh, and there's been, I think it's all but confirmed. They're talking about like Borderlands will be there in some capacity as well. So I don't I was going to say Borderlands 4 would be an official thing. Now it could be, they could do a whole nother thing like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and just do a complete spin-off. But they talked about how there's going to be some sequels.
A pre-sequel too.
I know. No, not that one. Please, no. But no, 2K or Gearbox has talked about how they have some stuff to show. So I think, Borderlands 4 and Wonderlands 2 wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, but I'm not counting that one. Just because that it was earlier this week they talked about, it's there's a strong possibility this will be a thing.
I think you got to go 4, right?
Yeah. Because 3 was the same. Literally, I think was this within a week apart of Gears. Like Borderlands 3 and Gears 5 came out the same month. Literally, I think a week apart. So, and that
would be crazy if they were both at this show, 6 and Gears 6 and and Borderlands 4, and then they released a week apart again.
Oh,
that would be nuts.
They would riot.
Yeah. September 13th was when it came out.
Yeah. So this one popped in my head. Talking about just games we haven't seen in a while. Think this is where we get a new teaser, or at least an unveiling of the new Tomb Raider game that they've been working on, because they've talked about it, how it's going to be different than the original trilogy, but still kind of connect to that original trilogy world.
Okay.
So I think it's time that because Shadow of the Tomb Raider was 2018. So I think it's time that we get a showing of Tomb Raider, because I like the style. I may not have been crazy about all the gameplay mechanics in some of them, but I did like the new style, that Uncharted feel that they did bring to Tomb Raider to make it more relevant again to it. So I think if they do a continuation of that, I think it'll be instant hit.
I think that they will reboot it again. That's what I mean. I don't have any reason to know that or think that, but that's just what I mean.
It wouldn't be surprising. And it wouldn't be surprising because Square Enix just sold off all their Western studios. So it wouldn't be surprising that if they just reboot it again. But again, I think we do see some Tomb Raider in capacity.
Who got Crystal Dynamics? I forgot.
Oh, you put me on the spot. I feel like it was Embracer Group.
Was it? Yeah.
I thought they sold them. Yes, it was. It was Embracer Group.
Because they're making Perfect Dark as well, and Perfect Dark is something that we need to see.
The game's never going to see the light of day.
That
I don't know.
No.
It's a shooter, and Xbox is all about those shooters, so I think it will.
Beyond Good and Evil 2 will come out before Perfect Dark.
No, that game's not coming out.
Kingdom Hearts 4 will come out before Perfect Dark. And I was gonna say another idea I had too was Wonder Woman would be showcased, and it still might. But there was a report the other day that it has troubled development, so I don't think this is the time to show it.
Everything has trouble in development.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a very interesting point. In the industry, we talk about layoffs all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering where we're going to see things kind of lay in this, and people also only have so much money to buy games.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's more spread out than what we normally see, so people can kind of capitalize on maybe opening spots, because over the last few years, it just feels like there's just game after game after game where, years before, the beginning of the year was not very heavy with releases. The middle was kind of light. It was mostly at the tail end of the year.
Yeah.
So, but now it's going to spread throughout the whole year.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't expect to see anything from Nintendo.
No.
I mean, I don't either, but then again, they could have that one more and I think they're in the middle of that transition because they had that big direct where they showcased at least through the summer, and I know that they need to have one to do, which they could just, again, it's like GTA, they could do their own thing whenever.
Yeah,
they don't need a big summer game fest anymore to showcase a bunch of their titles. I could see them doing, because I think they were, correct me if I'm wrong, I probably am on this one, I think they were one of the partners with Summer Game Fest, so I could see them at least showing one game or at least like teasing something and then being like more, and then they announce like, hey, we're going to have a direct, and like, or like maybe after the show be like, hey, we'll have a direct and the game we just showed off where it's going to be there, type deal. But I think that it's about time they have a direct to showcase what they're going to have for the fall.
Like their tree houses used to be at E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do that. I could see them just doing a direct next week sometime too, just on Tuesday or Thursday or something. Yeah. Or even later
like
after
in the month. All the dust settles.
I think there will be one more direct sometime this summer. And I do think, I guess this is a prediction, I do think that they have one more big release up their sleeve for the holiday this year.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what that would be. But I think there's at least one more we don't know about.
Like a big one. Now, I mean, it also depends on
like a new Star Fox game or F-Zero,
right?
Something bigger that we just don't know about. I don't think it'll be tomorrow, but
yeah, I mean, no, you're about to say sorry. And I get that. I don't know if it'll be that per se, but the one that did come to mind is because we haven't gotten one since they ported over the Wii U version. Is I think the one big one, and again, it determines on what it's your interpretation of what you consider a big Nintendo franchise, would be Donkey Kong. I think that could be. I don't know if that would spearhead their fall lineup, but I could see that being there, like, because we haven't gotten a new Donkey Kong in forever since Tropical Freeze. Right. So I think about say I know they did the right, and about say got ported with the Switch when the Switch came out, or at least within the first year of the Switch coming out. And I know the most recent Donkey Kong content they got was the Rabbids DLC, or like the Mario plus Rabbids.
Yeah, that was good DLC. Too, by the way.
It was, and I mean, and I guess that was them testing the waters, like, hey, do you still care about Donkey Kong type thing? So I think I agree with you. I think they do have one big release that they're going to showcase for the fall, and I think that could be Donkey Kong, just to have it like one more thing, because like I said, they're in that weird transition because even though it's not official, we all assume Switch 2 is going to be next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not this year. It doesn't look like. I have so speaking of Donkey Kong, I kind of came up with this game idea for Donkey Kong a year or two ago. I'm going to share it with you.
Okay.
I think it would be really cool to for them to do a game that is sort of like Luigi's Mansion, but with Donkey Kong, where he either gets his bananas stolen and has to travel to a different island, which is where King K. Rool's castle is, and he has to go puzzle solve his way through the castle, a la Luigi's Mansion, to save his bananas, or maybe he gets invited there and tricked to go in there, and then Diddy gets kidnapped or something. But something that's like Luigi's Mansion 3-esque, but with Donkey Kong and at King K. Rool's castle. I think that would be really fun.
I'm intrigued by the idea because, again, like, Luigi, I guess you can say, is like 3D-esque. I know they've done 3D Mario games. I mean, and they've tried to do like 3D with other like titles as well, but they really haven't done like a 3D Donkey Kong game.
Not a good one.
So it must, right. And
there
so that
64,
would be
Donkey Kong 64, but it wasn't any good.
Okay. Counter question to you, Bo, since you threw that out there. You think they would do it Donkey Kong, or do you think because Luigi's the side character, Diddy Kong would do it, and he has to do puzzle solving to rescue Donkey Kong?
Yeah, that could work too. And Luigi's Mansion, Luigi has that vacuum gun thing.
Yeah,
and Diddy Kong has the little peanut shooter they could adapt
that's
into
true.
something.
Yeah. So I must say it's not a far out there idea. Like it would be, and it would kind of be something different from Donkey Kong. Because,
right.
Again, other than like Diddy Kong Racing or like some other spinoffs, like you said, that have not been great. It would be something different because Donkey Kong proper has like the ones that have been good have all been 2D platformers. So
right.
I feel like they owe it to themselves to branch out a little bit and try and like revitalize that. But let's be honest, Nintendo probably put out something in the fall and do like Kirby, and some like trash Kirby game that no one asked for.
I don't know. They just did a big Kirby game, the Forgotten Lands.
But they also
last year or the year before, I can't remember.
It was last year. But see, with Kirby, they do this weird thing where they'll put out a big one and then put out a small title like the year after. Like, and then they just do it weird. So
they've done that a bunch on Switch though. There's been like five different Kirby games that have come out on Switch. Some of them were even free, but
yeah.
I don't know if they would do another Kirby. Maybe though. Who knows?
Just a few comments from the viewers and everything. Well, one, to go back to the partners, Nintendo is not a partner of Summer Game Fest.
I didn't think so.
They're the only big three that is not a partner. PlayStation and Xbox are both partners.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah. Escape from Books asked over on the vertical stream, what are the chances of Dragon Age remaster announcement for games 1 and 2? That would be amazing. I would absolutely love a remaster of 1 and 2.
And it would make sense. Like I feel like to make the story coherent, you would have to include Inquisition to some extent.
Yeah.
But you could also get away with 1 and 2, especially if they want to make that more of like a story focus, like bringing in more characters from the first two to like, be a part of the next Dragon Age game, to basically, hey, let's do remakes, because let's just say for the sake of argument, Dragon Age is not till like fall of 2025. You might want to have something to throw it in to tie it in, like to like hold over fans, like, and because it's been so long since Inquisition, it's like, hey, refresh us on the story. Like, why should we care about jumping into this world? So you could make that like the fall like release for that, or like the spring like or summer release for that and for next year.
Yeah. And maybe not a remaster. It might just be a collection where you get 1, 2, and 3. Inquisition is 3. But a remaster, like Nate says, Dragon Age Remastered would be awesome, where you got all the DLC for both, all the games and everything, because the DLC in 1 is absolutely amazing. I love that DLC. So I would definitely be down for some of that. We have not talked about Bandai Namco, and I don't want to go too much longer on this, but Bandai Namco is a partner, and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree is coming out later this month. So I feel like we've gotten a lot of story DLC. I feel like we get some sort of trailer, hey, it's coming out, blah, 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 and get some actual gameplay.
Oh, yeah. I think it's time, because we haven't seen much gameplay. Like, I know that's starting to go into like early access, early access, like going into like reviewers' hands, and like they're playing it and they're talking about it now. But yeah, it's literally when Summer Game Fest airs, it's going to be 2 weeks away from Erd Tree drop. So I do, and Keeley loves his From Software partnerships. So it's only right, because I think he's shown something Elden Ring related at almost all of his showcases. So I think it just makes sense. So to give that last oomph and be like, hey, in 2 weeks you get to play this. So yeah, I think they do some like a deep dive into like, because they talk about how it's, they're trying to like not reset it, but basically like refresh everyone on why you should care about Elden Ring. like bring in like a breath of fresh air for the franchise, and how like it's like, because they're going to tweak some like some gameplay stuff and whatnot. So it's like, hey, let's do a deep dive on some of the mechanics, and then we're going to show off a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are we going to see any Death Stranding 2 from Jeff's best bud, BFF?
Oh, I mean, it makes sense, but also, again, in what capacity? Because like Zach said, like the charge breakdown for the length of a trailer.
He wouldn't charge Hideo Kojima.
That's also fair. Like Kojima would have
probably asking him to be on there.
Yeah,
like, give me something.
He would literally like murder like half the people in there just to like talk to Kojima. You know I'm right.
You're not wrong. And I think
even though they're friends, but he would still murder all of them.
Because I think he had the longest trailer at VGA.
Yeah.
Because it was like an 8 or 9 minute trailer. So about to say, I think
it was just crazy.
Like, it was ridiculous. So I think
it's like Concord over there.
Except this one at least it wouldn't make sense either, but at least it would be more intriguing than Concord's trailer. But I think
you don't want more hot sauce. Give us the hot sauce, Jeff. Come on.
I think if we do, it'd just be like another like celebrity montage trailer and be like, hey, here's the people I got for the sequel. Okay, cool, bye. I think we see that because I think with it being so many partners, he wants to give everyone fair time, even though he would give Kojima the longest trailer. Like it would, right. So I still think he wants to be fair to his other partners.
All right, last one, and then we're gonna wrap this bad one up. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero gets a date.
Oh yeah, because they showed off the fusion ability, and I think they did say that, hey, we're gonna maybe talk about more about at Summer Game Fest. So I think that's a given. Like I think that's a nice October game.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready for it. Oh, well, guys. Those are all our predictions. And if you want to watch Summer Games Fest, we're going to be live tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. You're doing a quick get ready for it. We're going to watch along live, reacting to it, and then we'll give our breakdown afterwards on all the awesome games that we see tomorrow. And Sunday, we'll be reacting to the Xbox Game Showcase at, when we'll be live? At 11:30 a.m. Central Time. It's going to be fantastic. So come be a part of that. Guys, if you want to support the Nerd Cave, become a Patreon. Go over to patreon.com/nerdcave and support us over there. Help keep the lights and mics on. Help us continue to make awesome content. Become part of the ship, part of the crew. That's a good place to go. You help us out. So thanks to all of our wonderful patrons. It's much, much appreciated. So yeah, there's a 2-hour Nerd Cave news show. I hadn't done one of these in a long time, but guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Bo, thank you for coming and hanging out. Guys, thank y'all so much. I love y'all. This has been Zach.
Rafael Torres, a.k.a. El Lobo.
Is that your new legal name?
Yeah. For this episode, anyway.
Every week he gets a new one.
Oh, my goodness. And Bono's Gaming.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.